What's up, everyone? It's your boy Grover. I am going to do a quick analysis. We've got a big week up and coming. Lots of big earnings. We've got Coca-Cola, Microsoft, Alphabet, Visa, McDonald's, Spotify. Tons of big names. One of the ones I really like, Amazon. It's been on a heater recently. So, shout out to Earnings Whispers for putting all of this together. And let's take a look at, what levels I'm looking at this week. And if you guys have any requests for any of the charts that are, coming up this week on earnings, please feel free to give me a shout. Let's take a look at ES. First of all, ES has definitely been a lot weaker than its counterpart, NQ. NQ's definitely been holding up a lot more. And, but mainly I do trade ES. And what I'm looking at right now is we are at a pretty big support. If we can hold this and break out of this flag, we do have this downtrend. If we can break out of this, I'm definitely eyeing that 4180, 4190 spot again. I do want to see that come up this week. Obviously, it is all earnings dependent. There are a lot of news, a lot of earnings coming out this week, so that is on watch. If we were to break down, though, the next spot I'm looking at on the downside, we are going to get some stops here at this 4120 level, followed by this 4110. But if that breaks, ultimately I'm eyeing this 4195 to 4100 spot to go long, even if that is for a small bounce. Obviously, smaller bounce on a larger time frame is going to still give us 10 to 15 points. So that's what I'm looking at. Ultimately, targeting maybe that 4120 again if we can get it. If not, at least 4110. We'll see how that price action forms. But ultimately, right now, I want to see, this price action kind of base here, consolidate, and then break above, and we can ultimately see that. That is what I'm looking for. NQ, on the other hand, looks quite a bit better. So this is how I am looking at NQ. We definitely have this level up here, originally it was some support, and now it's becoming resistance. We can see that here. Ultimately, with some stops at 13,518, I want to see the price action be able to get to this 13,850 all the way up to 14,000. This is ultimately the price target where I would look to go short. But as for right now, we are still stuck in this consolidation, holding this 12,980 down to 12,920 spot as support. So if we can keep holding this, I definitely same price action. I want to see this kind of break through this flag and go up here. If we were to break and close below this, I definitely want to see quite the opposite, and we'll go down to about 12,650 all the way down to about 12,530. So this is the next area where these are the two levels I'm looking at on NQ. DXY, let's take a look. So DXY has been in a nice little downtrend. However, 100 always being that big psych spot, we can see we got one big bounce off of 100 going all the way up to 105, 106. We came back down and we did get a bounce. However, right now this is looking kind of weaker. Obviously, you can see this big bounce here compared to what is now just a bounce, and now we have a flag. So ultimately, that's what I'm looking at. You can also see this little trend line that we have. Ultimately, tried to hold it as support a couple times, broke back below, now it's become resistance. So what I'm looking to see here is if DXY can continue down, keep using that trend line as resistance, and then ultimately it can just go lower. That is what I'm looking at. US30. Let's take a look at that. So US30, same thing. We're kind of we do have this nice little uptrend, but it is stuck within these two ranges. I would like to see it reject off of this level. That is a little bit biased. We do still have this supply up top. Ultimately, this is the bigger supply zone that it needs to hold. But if we can hold this, we do have room on the way down. This is a little bit biased. I'm waiting to see what the price action tells me around this spot. I'm not ultimately too sure what it will do here, and I can't say it with confidence. So this is just on watch for me right now. US10Y. Very similar price action, going up into this supply. Our support is all the way down here. We'll draw that out. There we go. That is our range. We've obviously held that a couple different times. So this level is going to be a little bit weaker now. But again, just on watch for me right now, not too sure what it's going to do. Short term, it does look like it's bouncing, and we will get to see this level here. So keep that on watch when it comes into, seeing how the techs react to this. So that's ES10Y, GXY, and US10Y. The next one I want to look at is Amazon. Amazon has been on an absolute heater. Like, just look at this thing. This thing is just boom, straight up. This is a nice little channel it's formed. It is at the top of that right now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a pullback. We do have obviously this big area up here full of supply. You can see that from the left. Lots of consolidation has happened here. So if we can, this is ultimately the short spot. I would like to see for this trend to get up to this spot here before any sort of rejection on the way down. And then for further moves up, we'd like to see how it reacts around this spot. So that is Amazon. Let's take a look at Coca-Cola. Going into earnings, same story. Look at this. Beautiful, just pure rip the last couple days. Solid uptrend. Literally has not tried to stop at all, but we are approaching that resistance, right? So, going into earnings, you obviously want to be wary of that. You know that this spot is here. If we can break through this, we do have some levels up here at 65.49, all the way 66.47, 67.18. If we can break through this, with earnings being the one big push, then I'd definitely be eyeing this about 65 spot if we can get there. We'll see how the price reacts. Like I said, it is a big earnings week, lots going on. Let's take a look at Google. Alright, so Google is in kind of like a little flag right now. We did, make three consequent highs, and we are struggling here now. It is kind of just consolidating for the next leg up. Like I said, earnings is going to be that big push, whether it breaks up or breaks down. Ultimately, if it breaks down, you want to see this 100 level break. This is going to be a big psych support level. And then on the way up, we have room to about 112.91, and if we get a really nice push, really good reaction, 118. Again, if you're doing options, guys, I don't recommend doing anything way out the money. Stick to your monthlies. Go to the first level out. I would take maybe the 113s on this if you're going for the upside. Always try to hedge against the downside. Definitely take some spreads. That would, be the better option. And hopefully you don't get cooked on the premiums and they stay flat. That's, I'm not a personal fan of taking options myself. And like I said, I just trade ES. But that is my recommendation. If you are going to be taking something here, stick to the spreads. Cool. Now, let's see some of the other big names that people have been talking about. Netflix has been a big one. Earnings happened last week. It has kind of just stuck out in this downtrend right now. You can see that. We did get a push all the way down to this 292. I would not be surprised if after this initial move we do continue downwards just to fill the spot, and then we make our move back up. But ultimately, as of right now, it's still in a downtrend. Wait for the little push, and then we'll see how this goes. There is some supply up here, and we can see the levels of support are way down at 278, 280. Great. Meta is another big one. Let's take a look, and this is going to be the last one I do for today. Let's take a look. So we've obviously been on, another absolute heater. Just take the lows all the way to the end. You can see that's kind of our little trend. We have broke down from that, however. So, we've broken down from this kind of uptrend. And with earnings coming up in 3 days, it'd be really, what we want to see is, can this break back in trend? Or is this kind of going to just pull back? Ultimately, I would love for it to get to about this spot here. So we're looking at about 230 to 240 if this can really get a push. It is very possible, as we can see with our last earnings. we did see a big, very nice reaction. I would not be surprised if, you know, once we get to this spot, we get a massive pullback. This is going to be a big spot for us for sure, because look at this. Above this, it's all just empty. So we're going to have a lot of sellers in this spot here. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at for meta. Hope you guys have had a fantastic day, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Till then, deuces.